out of all the female characters in Class 1A in My Hero Academia, Ochaco Uraraka has to be my favorite. Actually, you know what? Her and Mina Ashido are probably my favorite. But there's just something about Ochaco's character that's so much fun, and you just root for her no matter what. I think for me, obviously being a huge Katsuki Bakugo fan, for me, that being my #1 favorite character of all time in the series, having him fight against Ochaco, and we see Ochaco not backing down. She knows that Bakugo is considered the strongest in the class up until that point, and she knows his nature, she knows his aggressiveness, and she doesn't back down. And at the end of the fight, Bakugo actually respects her. We see Bakugo, he always calls people by a nickname. He never refers to them by name. But by the end of the fight, he referred to her by name because he actually respected her, and he respected her battle strategy. She's worked on herself, she's learned gun-head martial arts, and yeah, there's just something about her that's extremely likable. Obviously, she has a bubbly personality, but she's definitely, her and Mina Ashido, and I'll get to her in another video, are probably my favorite. So that's why today I want to talk about what my prediction is going to be for her character card. Okay, so right off the bat, let's talk about hand size and vitality. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I have a very sneaky suspicion that Ochaco's gonna have less vitality than Midoriya and Bakugo. We know that both of them have 28 vitality, which is on the higher end. I feel like Ochaco Uraraka is gonna probably have between 20 and 25 HP, 20 to 25 vitality. If I was to put a hard number on it, if you like put a gun to my head and said, right, pick a number, I would say she'd probably have 22 life. To offset having less life, whether it's between 20 to like 24, 25, she'll probably have a higher hand size. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to put numbers. I'm going to say her hand size is most likely going to be 7 cards in hand, and her life is most likely going to be 22 life. Now remember, again, these are just predictions. I have nothing to go off of that's going to be hard, concrete proof. This is just what I'm going to be predicting. And when it actually comes out, we'll see if I was right or not. Now, before I talk about what I think her resource symbols are going to be, as well as what I think her actual abilities are going to be, let's take a look at this Jasco Games tweet. So they said Ochaco Uraraka sends her rivals floating away, making them vulnerable to incoming attacks while impeding their ability to counterattack. So knowing that information, we can kind of think about what her symbols might be and what her actual abilities might be. So again, I'm just speculating here and I'm going off of a random tweet, but if I had to bet and if I had to predict and if I had to guess, which is what I'm doing for this video, I would say that Ochaco Uraraka's 3 symbols would have to be Earth, Void, and Order. And I feel like she would play in a type of control deck type of sense. So of course, right now we don't have any support for these 3 resource symbols because we only know the cards that were in the Katsuki Bakugo demo deck as well as the Izuku Midoriya demo deck. But remember that we are getting a booster box on release that's going to have support for all resource symbols. So in the event that this type of Ochaco card did exist with these specific resource symbols, I'm sure it would be fully fleshed out and we'd be able to build a deck around this. Now, according to my research and looking at other types of cards in UFS in general, for these types of symbols, it's typically a more type of control deck style, like I mentioned earlier, in which you'd be able to hinder your opponents by committing their foundations, but then also you have the ability to use throws. So now if we jump back to that tweet and we reread it where it says vulnerable to incoming attacks while impeding your opponent's ability to counterattack, it matches up hand in hand, right? Being able to commit your opponent's foundations, the cards in your opponent's staging area, will make it harder for them to block your attacks, right? It's going to make them more vulnerable for your incoming attacks because they're going to have less cards to commit in order to successfully block your attacks. But then I also feel like the reason why throws might be a part of Ochaco's character is because not only does she throw a lot and she likes to have that grappling style in the anime thanks to her gunhead martial arts, but I also think that because throw, the actual mechanic in the game throw exists, it allows the character, or it allows the attacker to still deal full damage even if the attack is fully blocked. So that's why I feel like those 2 things specifically will make your opponent more vulnerable to incoming attacks. Now, in terms of impeding their ability to counterattack, let's go ahead and talk about what I think her actual card abilities might be. So for her first ability, I think it's going to be an enhance effect, so an effect that can be used in the enhance step, and essentially what it's going to do is lower the amount of damage that your opponent's attack does. Now, is that going to be one attack? Is it going to be their first attack? Is it going to be their whole turn of attacks? I highly doubt that because that would be extremely OP. If I had to put my money on it, I would say probably maybe the first attack or maybe the first 2 attacks, depending on how they want to balance it, but then also depending on how much damage that attack is losing. Maybe it loses -1, maybe it loses -2. For my prediction, I'm going to say similar to a card that already existed UFS, kind of like a Zangief, I'm going to assume that she might have an ability in which that she's able to decrease your opponent's first attack by -2. For her second ability, I think it's going to be a response effect. Now, in response to what? I'm not sure because there's so many different interactions and effects in the game. I can't really give a prediction on that, but I do think it'll be a response effect, and I do think that what it will do exactly is it's going to be allowing you to commit 1 or 2 of your opponent's foundations. This just kind of goes again into like the control style type of gameplay, makes it a little bit more difficult for your opponent to play the cards they want because it'll be more difficult for them to pass control checks because they'll have more foundations, they'll have more cards in their staging area that are committed. And then as well, you can shut down effects of cards that might have commit as a cost. You'll be able to commit them using her response effect, so maybe that could be something. But then also on the offensive end, if it's a response in that sense, if you're going for an attack and you're also allowing your opponent to, or you're forcing your opponent to commit cards that way, then they're going to have a more difficult time to pass control checks when you're checking for speed to see if they could actually block your attack. And there you have it. This is my prediction for the Ochaco Uraraka character card. Again, this is not like a wish list or anything like that because I have no clue what the other cards in the game are going to be. This is just me making a prediction. This is just me getting amped, making content, being excited for this game. I can't wait. I can't wait for this to be fully released. And then once the actual card comes out, we will be able to see if I was right in any capacity at all. It'll be very interesting to see. So without further ado, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to share with a friend, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what other characters do you want me to see. I'm going to be making all the characters that they announce. I'm going to be doing predictions for them. So let me know which ones you want to see next in the comment section below, all that good stuff. But most importantly, guys, go plus ultra, man. You gotta go plus ultra. I'll catch you guys later and stay tuned. Peace.